Ruby. Uncle Bob! Ruby races over, gloomph, gloomph, across the broad field that's part of the elephant domain. She's so cute when she runs. She's like so determined not to trip over that trunk. Ruby adores me. I make her laugh. I read the room. I lighten the mood. I gotta admit, I am kind of adorable. When I am with Ivan, I think, pal, man, we've been through a lot, you and me. We're survivors. But when I'm with Ruby, I think, girl, look at you. Hard luck pass, and here you are, so much happier, so loved. Ruby, like Ivan, was plucked from Africa as a baby. She ended up in the circus that went bankrupt and then got shipped off to Max Mall. Ruby was taken in by dear old Stella. Oh, when Stella passed away, Ivan stepped in to play, well, elephant dad, I guess. I did my part too, not because I felt like I had to. It just makes life easier. Elephant toddlers are a handful. You think humans are bad? Try putting a 200-pound baby elephant in timeout. Ruby's family. Little Ruby seems so much more content at the park or surrounded by her new herd. Old and young and in between, they spoil the adorable pachyderm like you wouldn't believe. She deserves every minute of it. Kid had rough start. Some elephants hang out in packs of females. Now that she's at the park, Ruby has adoptive sisters, aunts, and grandmothers galore. In the wild, the elephant guys head off once they're old enough, and they do their own thing. Sometimes I lose track of who's who among all the elephants because they're always taking mud baths, scrambling all their smells. By the way, what kind of animal actually likes baths? Mud. Sure. Ivan's art. How's it going, girl? I call to Ruby as she stops near the moat, edging the wall. I had cantaloupe for breakfast, Uncle Bob, and it was yummy. And then I took a mud bath. She pauses to take a breath. Do you want to hear a new dog riddle, Uncle Bob? Well, of course I do, I say, and I catch Ivan's amused glance. What kind of a dog is always on time? Asks Ruby. Got me, Ruby. I'm totally baffled, befuddled, bewildered. What kind of dog? A watchdog, Ruby exclaims. Watchdog, get it? Get it, Uncle Bob? Not bad, Ruby, not bad at all, I say. Ivan says it's going to rain buckets, says Ruby. She dips her trunk in the moat and then blows bubbles. I think Ivan might be onto something there. Did he show you his new picture? Ruby asks. She grabs a tuft of grass and tosses it in the air. I wish I could see it, but I can't because of this silly wall. But he told me about it. My pal Ivan is quite the artist, just like Julia. Ivan sits up and nods towards the spot on the wall. Another mud mural? I ask. As any good dog knows, dirt plus water equals mud. And mud means mess, and mess means let's roll in this stuff. And maybe dig a hole, or 2, or 10. But for Ivan, mud plus flat surface equals waiting canvas. I crane my neck, edging a bit farther on the top of the wall. Try not to draw attention to myself. Hey, nice, I say. I mean, I'm not an art guy, but to me, art is a glop of spray cheese on a cheese dog with extra grated cheese on top. That's art. Still, I've always admired Ivan's work. Ivan begins. No! I say, don't tell me, let me guess. You always guess wrong, Ivan says. No, I don't. Not always. You thought my palm tree was a dandelion. Art is in the eye of the beholder, I say. You thought my blackberries? You thought they were giant ants. Kenyani ambles up to join the conversation. And I remind you that you thought the portrait of me was a chimpanzee with gas. Well, the resemblance was striking, I say. Kenyani glares at me. She glares at me a lot. On the subject of chimps. Probably I shouldn't have mentioned the new chimp angle, but gorillas aren't as open-minded as us dogs. A lot of them have things about chimps, like they're clowns or something. But when I look at apes and gorillas, seems like they're a lot more in common than they like to admit. Dogs ain't perfect, but I tell you one thing, where we rule, tolerance. For us dogs, is a dog is a dog. I see a Great Dane, I say howdy. I run into a puggle, it's glad to meet ya. How's it going? Smelled any good pee any lately? To the dog park, you'll see we're equal opportunity playful. You sniff my rear, and I'll sniff yours. You don't see that with humans, obviously, constantly seeing differences where none exist. All those things, like skin color, dogs could care less. You think I won't hang out with a Dalmatian because he's spotted? Or a Shar Pei because he's wrinkled? I'm not saying I love every dog I meet. Snickers comes to mind, but I'll always give a dog the benefit of the doubt. Life is short, play is good, and there are plenty of tennis balls to go around. A very handsome dog. Hi, Aunt Kiani, Ruby calls. Once again, Ruby, says Kiani. I'm not your aunt. I'm a primate, and you, my dear, are not. More's the pity. But if Ivan is my uncle, then you have to be my aunt, Ruby declares. Says Ivan, pointing to the wall. My painting, Bob? I consider it. It looks like a dog, like a dog. Ruby flaps her ears. I can tell she's really trying hard to stay quiet. A very handsome dog, I add. Is it? It is, Ruby exclaimed. It's you, Uncle Bob. Uncle Ivan told me. But who's that? I asked, pointing on the other spot of mud strokes. I thought you needed a companion, says Ivan. I know you must get lonely at home by yourself all day. It is true, but I've never mentioned it to Ivan. Guy's like a mind reader or something. I think Snickers and Bob would make a cute couple, said Ruby. I blink in disbelief. Bite your trunk. Ruby starts to reply, but her voice is drowned out by the sharp clap of thunder. Ooh, storm's getting close, says Kiani. Ivan, dear, come on. You know how I hate it out here in the dump. It's true. He carries around old burlap bags so he won't have to sit in wet grass. Ivan looks at me sheepishly. She knows me so well. Kudzu, one of the baby gorillas, bounds over and leaps onto Ivan's back. Ivan loves all the youngsters, but Kudzu is his favorite. I think she reminds him of his twin sister Tag, who died when he was still a baby. Ride! Kudzu commands. Julia appears with her backpack at the ready. Bob, she calls, we need to get going. Ride now, Kudzu repeats, yanking on one of Ivan's ears. Look like it's time to go, says Ivan. Good to see you, buddy. Stay dry, okay? Will do, big guy. I turn to Kiani. Enchanted as always, my dear. A trumpeting noise cuts through the air. Uh-oh, says Ruby. That's Aunt Akilo. Akilo is the oldest of the elephant and lumbers over. Come on, Ruby. Weather's getting bad. Just one more minute, Ruby pleads. Now. But I need to tell Uncle Bob one more riddle. Now, Akilo repeats. Nobody ever listens to the littlest elephant, Ruby complains. You can tell me the riddle next time, kiddo, I say, winking at Akilo. Ruby brightens. Okay, gotta go. I'll be in big trouble. I love you, Uncle Bob. See you later, Uncle Ivan and Aunt Kiani. I'm not your... Kiani begins, but Ruby is already galloping back towards her herd.